Hey guys, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host Jenna, and this is our daily show giving you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus insight into what it all means. And joining me as always is AMC Editor-in-Chief John Campea.
Hey Jenna, hey everybody.
Hey.
I just realizing sitting down that my seat feels warm. It's because Jamie Kennedy was just sitting here. Amy Rose actually just did an interview with Jamie Kennedy. I think this is the seat he was sitting in. Cool. He might have farted a lot on it. I don't know.
No.
Maybe that's why it's so warm.
Well, also joining me is the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? John Schnepp. Hey, John.
Hey, what's going on? So are you trying to say that Jamie Kennedy has an extra warm butt? Like a warmer butt than normal people?
I am suspecting that, but I think that's a sign of a warm heart. Could be.
Or a very hot ass.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of the two.
Having already conquered one 1960s spy thriller in Mission Impossible, it now appears Tom Cruise is looking to conquer another. Reports are emerging that Cruise is looking at joining The Man from U.N.C.L.E, being directed by Sherlock Holmes and Snatch director Guy Ritchie. The film was originally going to be directed by Steven Soderbergh and was written by Scott Z. Burns, who previously wrote such films as The Bourne Ultimatum, Contagion, and the upcoming Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. John, what do you think about Cruise joining another super spy thriller?
I mean, some people are going to say, "Oh, it's gonna." I like it. I like it a lot. I think Cruise has excelled in this. I even really like Cruise in that last film he did that nobody went to go see, Jack Reacher. I thought, now I didn't like the ending of Jack Reacher. I thought it was actually flat out, it was a bad ending, but that doesn't take away from how good I thought the first 3/4 of the film were. And I think he's really doing well. The last Mission Impossible film was the best of the franchise so far.
Agree.
That thing's just getting better and better. And I really think he's found his niche in these things. And you know what? I've always said this, even back when Tom Cruise was going legally insane, we all remember when he was jumping up and down on the couches and sounding like little Looney Tunes. I used to say, yeah, he's crazy. But guess what? This guy is a world-class actor. He is a world-class actor, and he just also happens to be really good in these action films. And so, Man from U.N.C.L.E? Yeah, sign me up. I'm in. What about you, Schnepp?
I think so. I mean, you know, I just think it's sort of that thing that I'm a little bit against, where it's like the same actor is in every single movie, where they were doing that with Jeremy Renner a little bit. It's like, how can he be in like all these movies? Aren't there other actors who exist on this planet that can be in their own franchise? Why do you have to have the same guy? Like, can you have the Mission Impossible meets The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and have Tom Cruise fight himself in like an insane dual sequel? Like, I mean, I'm all for it. I think the addition of Guy Ritchie is going to add a little bit more flavor as far as the directing and make it, you know, him and Guy Ritchie doing The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is a lot more exciting to me than if it was just George Clooney dropped out and then Tom Cruise and Steven Soderbergh for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be great. I mean, Tom Cruise, I agree with you. He's a great actor. And, you know, I'm looking forward to Oblivion. That's something I'm more excited about than The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So.
I'm so glad that you brought up Guy Ritchie too, because Guy Ritchie in this mix, I think, is what pushes me over the edge to really being excited about the idea. Ritchie directed probably in my top 15 all-time favorite films, Snatch. I can't watch that movie enough. Like, I can watch that 50 times in a row and I'll still eat it up. I think he's done a really good job with the Sherlock Holmes films. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was really good. So those two together, I think, is a really interesting match. So we'll see how that turns out.
All right. The director for the upcoming G.I. Joe Retaliation, John Chu, is getting ready to tackle a He-Man Masters of the Universe movie. Although no one has been cast in the film yet, Chu seems to already know one actor he'd like to make a cameo. Chu said the following: "I don't know if Dolph Lundgren is around or what he's doing, but yeah, I think that could be some fun if we could find a way. I hope he still has the loincloth and the long hair and everything." Schnepp, how would you feel about a Dolph Lundgren cameo in He-Man?
Dolph Lundgren, yes. I think Dolph Lundgren would be incredible. He's in a small movie called Small Apartments. I just saw it. He plays a motivational speaker, and he's great in it. I think he's an actor that's really underrated. So get him in there to be like He-Man's dad, you know?
Lundgren was probably my favorite interview that I did for all of the Expendables 2 stuff. He's actually legitimately really funny and really nice. So yeah, absolutely. First of all, you and I talked, Schnepp, the other day about wanting to see a He-Man movie. Now, whether or not I'm excited that John Chu is directing it, I won't really know till I have a chance this week to go and watch G.I. Joe. That will really determine a lot about how excited I am that John Chu is directing it. But let's assume for a second that I like G.I. Joe Retaliation. Absolutely. Look, I can just picture the theater now. I'm in the theater watching He-Man. It's a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes some guard at Grayskull walking out, and it's Dolph Lundgren. That audience is going to go nuts. At least people who know what they're seeing and what they're doing, they're going to go nuts. I will be one of them. So yeah, sign me up. I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
What if He-Man, he cast Justin Bieber? Like, what?
For those of you who don't know, I believe Chew directed the documentary, the Justin Bieber documentary. So yeah, I mean, we all know directors like to work with guys they worked with before. I think that's inspired casting, Schnepp. Inspired casting. All right, well, it's that time of the show for Buy or Sell. The way this works is simple. Jenna's going to read off a bunch of other items in the world of movie news right now, and then Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Jenna, what do we got?
David Goyer, writer of such films as Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and the upcoming Man of Steel, has been set to direct the upcoming The Count of Monte Cristo, a story following a young man named Edmond Dantes who, betrayed and imprisoned, spends years in prison before escaping with a treasure map and making his way to incredible wealth. From there, Dantes plans his return as the Count of Monte Cristo and his revenge on the three men responsible. Now, there was a 2002 version of the story which starred Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce and was directed by Kevin Reynolds. John, buy or sell a Goyer version of Count of Monte Cristo?
I'm going to sell it, oddly enough. I love the story Count of Monte Cristo. I just don't think it's been long enough since the last film. The last film was great. I mean, it was really... Guy Pearce stunned me about how good of an actor that dude really is in that film. I ate that movie up. I don't think it's time for a remake yet. It's only been about 10 years. And I'm not so sure Goyer, who is very talented, I like Goyer very much, I'm not so sure this is a good style fit for him. So yeah, overall, I'm going to sell it. Schnepp?
I'm going to buy it. Only yesterday someone was like, it's going to be a spin on it's like going to have a Dark Knight flavor, and it's going to be made in a graphic novel style. So just out of corniness, I want to see him do the Count of Monte Cristo. Just to see like what that sales angle is. I don't know how they're going to try to sell it. He puts on a cape, becomes a bat. It's like, I don't know. I'm fine with seeing it. I love the Count of Monte Cristo. There's like 30 versions of it already that you can see. So, I mean, I love that. I love that story. It's a great story. So.
Family Guy creator and director of last year's hit comedy Ted, Seth MacFarlane is rapidly putting his cast together for his upcoming Western comedy, A Million Ways to Die in the West. The newest person said to be joining the cast is Wreck-It Ralph's Sarah Silverman. The story for the movie follows MacFarlane as a cowboy who, after losing his girlfriend, Amanda Seyfried, begins to train as a gunfighter with a famous outlaw, Liam Neeson. The only trouble is the cowboy begins to develop feelings for the outlaw's wife, Charlize Theron. Schnepp, buy or sell Silverman joining A Million Ways to Die in the West?
I buy it. I think Silverman did a great job in Wreck-It Ralph. She was really fun. And she's a dirty potty mouth, so she's going to be awesome in this movie as a super slut, doing all kinds of crazy, weird, like insane angles and new positions. And I could just guarantee you'll see Seth MacFarlane rolling up, and then the camera will pan over, and it'll be some horrific, weird visual with her saying something like, but I can't have sex with my husband because, that's a whole little gimmick. Her and Ribisi are supposed to be getting married, and that she can't have premarital sex, but she's boning everyone else. So I think she's going to rock it. So
yeah, I agree. And John Silverman's character is supposed to be actually a Western hooker. She's a prostitute, and so, but she won't have premarital sex with her fiance. It's kind of like, look, I think Silverman's a perfect match for a Seth MacFarlane film. I think this is a great setup, but also who is not a perfect fit for MacFarlane, and that's what makes this genius, is Liam Neeson. You throw in Liam Neeson's name in this, in a Seth MacFarlane comedy, this could be outstanding. So yeah, overall, I got to give this a big buy.
Mark Miller, the creative consultant for Fox's Marvel properties, was recently talking about the upcoming Fox Marvel films, including The Wolverine and X-Men Days of Future Past, when he made the following comment. Days of Future Past is potentially the biggest and most ambitious superhero movie ever made. I've seen this coming together in various stages, but now they're only weeks away from shooting. It's really catching fire. John, buy or sell the notion that X-Men Days of Future Past will be the biggest and most ambitious superhero movie ever made?
Sell. Yeah. I think it's going to be good. It's I think absolutely it's going to be really, really good. Maybe it'll be the best superhero movie ever made. But saying it's going to be the biggest and most ambitious, there was a little film just out called The Avengers that they built years up to. So I absolutely sell this. Schnepp?
I'm going to have to sell this too. I think it's the biggest and most ambitious cast, where they have like 40 people all vying for attention to be in an X-Men movie. You have the original X-Men from the 2000 series, and you have the new First Class X-Men. So I think it's a lot of people in one movie. I'm really hoping they split it into 2 films and go Hobbit style and be like, look, we have so much going on. We have to make it 2 movies, just like the comic book. It was 2 issues. Go with 2 movies, release one, and then release the other one the next year. I think that would be incredible. I hope somebody's listening. Do that.
Well, I should throw this in here quick. One of the other things that Miller said in his interview was that they do have a big announcement coming up in the next couple of months, and I'm not going to be surprised. There is a lot of speculation about this, but I will not be surprised at all if the announcement that's going to come out of Fox is that they're going to split this film up into 2 pieces. X-Men Days of Future Past 1 and Part 2. Won't be surprised if that's the case at all.
When Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters was met with mixed reviews and only grossed $55 million domestically, many believed no sequel would see the light of day. However, with the international box office added on, the film made a total of $205 million worldwide on a $50 million budget. With that in mind, it's now being reported that Paramount Pictures is planning on moving ahead with a Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters 2. Schnepp, buy or sell a Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters 2?
Seeing as I totally didn't see the first one, I completely buy it, and please make the second and third one so that I could see a trilogy all at the same time. I love Dead Snow, so I think the director's crazy. He's gonzo mad, like insane super gore. I want to see Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter. I just was so busy I missed it in the theater. So I can't wait to see all 3 of them in a giant super trilogy combo pack. Make 4 of them.
I'm going to, actually, surprisingly enough, I'm going to buy this. And I'll tell you what. Look, did I love Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters? No, I didn't. I thought it was a movie that did not live up to its potential. But I feel the same way about it that I felt about Underworld when I first saw it. Underworld, I didn't think was all that good, but I saw that they had great building blocks. Like they had everything there to make something really great. I just felt like it tripped out of the gate, and I feel kind of the same way about Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. I felt there was some really good building blocks in that film. They have some good characters, good actors. The way they handle mythology is kind of cool, so you can make something really great out of this. Just because they didn't in the first try, I believe I want to see them take a second try, so I buy it. Well, listen, folks, there's a whole bunch of other things going on in the world of movie news that we don't have time to go into in depth, so we just want to catch you up to date right now with the News Roundup. Producer Joel Silver is working on bringing a remake of the classic Escape from New York to the big screen. The original 1981 film starred Kurt Russell, who also led the 1996 sequel, Escape from L.A. The cast for the upcoming Godzilla film has been finalized. The film will star Kick-Ass's Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Ken Watanabe, Elizabeth Olsen, Juliette Binoche, and Bryan Cranston. Warner Brothers also announced that the film has already started production today in Vancouver, Canada. The Elton John biopic, Rocket Man, has found a director in Michael Gracie. Reports claim that the Helmer will take on the project working from a script by Lee Hall, who also previously wrote films such as Billy Elliot and Warhorse. It's being reported that actor Hugh Jackman will star in the upcoming film 6 Years, based on the new novel of the same name. The story is about Jackman's character, who had to watch the love of his life marry another man 6 years ago, only now to discover that things are not all as they seem. Although it was earlier reported that the upcoming Transformers 4 would take place and shoot in China, RealChicago.com is reporting now that the film will return to the Windy City and shoot from July to October. And that will do it for the News Roundup. Okay, folks, well, it's that time of day for us to go to the mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on air, simply email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Every day we pick out a couple of emails and read them on air. But here's a little tip, guys. I just got to say this. We get like 50 to 100 emails every day. Please don't write these 7-page long things to us. Keep it as short as you can. The shorter it is, get right to the point, and that will increase your chances of getting your question on the show. So Jenna's got a few questions pulled out of the mailbag. So Jenna, what do we got?
Tyler Sanchez writes, "Hey guys, love your show. I'm a big fan of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians books, and I love the movie Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. But I thought they could have made it better by sticking closer to the stuff in the book. I can't wait for the Sea of Monsters years to come out, and I wanted to know what your thoughts on the movies were.
I'm actually one of the people, I quite enjoyed the Percy Jackson movie, and I was really happy to hear that they were going to be doing a sequel. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you about, here's the problem with reading a book before you see a movie. When you read the book version of a movie first, you create pre-expectations, like these pre-existing expectations in your head about now what the movie is supposed to be, instead of just letting the movie be what it is on its own. So I personally have a rule. If I haven't read a book and I know a movie's coming out, I will not read the book before the movie comes out, because I don't want to taint my viewing experience with pre-existing expectations. I want to just let the movie be the movie and appreciate it for what it was. That's the gift and that's the art of adaptation. And I thought the movie came across really well, myself personally. I don't know. Schnepp, what do you think?
Well, they've got all these Bible movies coming out. You got Noah, you got Ridley Scott doing some like Super Moses movie or some Bible thing. I read that book, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of spoilers going on, so just be really careful for all you young adult kids who are reading those like young adult novels for spoilers. That's all I can really say.
All right, what's next?
Eric Nelson writes,
Spoilers.
Great show. I listened to the podcast on the way to work. I agree completely that Joss Whedon will not revisit Serenity, but I would love to see a big screen story of who Shepard Book was and how he ended up on Serenity. Doesn't have to be directed by Joss Whedon, but would love for it to just get made. How did Book get priority treatment on an Alliance ship? What is his background? I think for a modest price, maybe 20 mil, this movie could get filmed. Thoughts?
Not a chance. No chance. And I would love to see Book. That was one of the big disappointments of Firefly ending as soon as it did, was that they had set up all this great backstory mystery that they wanted to get into, but we never got around to. I was kind of hoping in the Serenity movie they would have addressed Book and what happened with Shepard, but they didn't. They just let it go. But let's face it, Firefly was a show that went off air after one season because nobody watched it. They gave us a movie version for all those armies of fans, and none of us went to go see it. I went to go see it. Why did you not go see it? It was amazing. So now you're talking about taking one of the smaller characters of that show and giving them their own spin-off. No way, because you make it for $20 million. First of all, you can't make it for $20 million, and even if you could, then you got to spend another $15 on marketing. It can't happen. It's just an impossibility. Schnepp, am I wrong?
No, you're totally right. If there's no waves are going to be a movie about Book. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's it's fan fiction. You have to think about it like you can write the movie and then publish it online, and then all the brown coats can read it and enjoy it that way. But it's just not going to happen. I mean, Joss Whedon already said, if he even does a Kickstarter for Firefly, it would be like 5-6 years down the road, because he's totally absorbed into the Marvel universe right now. That's just the honest truth. So it's not going to happen.
Jason Martirzan writes, Hi guys, I love your show, and John, you are the master.
Truth.
Wow, okay. So me and my friends had a conversation some days ago about the 1999 Academy Awards, and I think that Jim Carrey should have been nominated, and also he should have won the Oscar for his role in The Truman Show. So what do you think about this?
You know what? That's a very popular thing, but no, I never did. I never thought he should. I would have been okay with him getting a nomination, definitely. Actually, I would have been okay with him getting a nomination. But should he have won? No. But the fact of the matter is, most people, not you, but most people who talked about, I remember I had these debates with people who would say, Jim Carrey got screwed, and I love Jim Carrey, saying, Jim Carrey got screwed, he should have won the Academy Award. And then I would ask them, okay, did you see the movies that the other guys who got nominated, and the guy who won, did you see those movies this year? No, but he was awesome in The Truman Show, so he should have won. You know what? If you haven't watched the other... No, he shouldn't have won. I'm telling you right now, he shouldn't have won. But he was great in that. And the fact that he didn't win the Academy Award that year doesn't take away from how great he was in it, and how good of a performer he is. Schnepp?
Yeah, I think he should have won for Dumb and Dumber before he should have won for The Truman Show. Why is it comedy is not accepted in the Oscars? I mean, he was incredible in that Dumb and Dumber. I mean, I could not stop laughing through the entire film, and he should have won an Oscar for that. In fact, he should have won for the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the Charlie Kaufman movie that he was incredible in, which he blew his performance away in The Truman Show by 1,000%, in my opinion. So that's when he should have won, and Dumb and Dumber. That's Dumb and Dumber Oscar, Jim Carrey, retro, going back into the future.
It's funny, Carrey wasn't even my favorite performance in Dumb and Dumber. I thought
who was?
I thought Jeff Daniels was I thought he was even better than Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. That's how good their two performances were.
Yeah, when he was on the pot, like had the loose,
one of my all-time favorite scenes. One of my all-time favorite scenes is that scene.
So funny.
Mitchell Carter writes, "Hey guys, I recently heard a small rumor that Fox is planning to merge their new Fantastic Four reboot with their existing X-Men film series. Have you heard anything similar? Do you think an alternate Fox-Marvel universe will be as successful or as good as its Disney-Marvel counterpart? And how much does it hurt DC to be so far behind with their own shared cinematic universe?"
Okay, first of all, any rumor you hear, none of it is based on fact. None of it. Nobody has made any claims. There's nothing. But, you know, guys like Schnepp and I have theorized that this is what they're doing. Look, the moment they brought on Matthew Vaughn, who directed X-Men First Class, to be the producer on their new Fantastic Four reboot, to us, it becomes obvious that they're going to be heading in that direction. I believe it makes total sense. It is what they should do. I believe, not based on any fact, but I believe it is what they are doing. Can it be as good as the way Marvel has set it up? Not in the immediate future, because Marvel's setup films have all been great. Captain America, Thor, the Iron Man films, they've all been great and then accumulated in this amazing, greatest comic book movie ever made, The Avengers. So they've got a ways to catch up. Can they catch up? Yeah, they can. It's possible. I just don't think you're going to see it happen in the next 5 years, but they can get there. Now, to the question of does this hurt DC? I don't think so. Other people's success does not mean you failed. I think we're going to know a lot and have a much better sense of the future of the DC universe once we have a chance to finally sit down and watch Man of Steel. That is going to answer a lot of questions. Because if it's as good as we think it's going to be, suddenly the floodgates, I think, are going to open. I think there's going to be a lot of possibilities and a lot of renewed excitement for the DC movie universe as well. Schnepp, what do you think?
I agree. I just wish DC wouldn't be as slow with starting up all these other features. I mean, they have so many great characters. You know, it's just kind of a bummer that they're waiting for the Man of Steel to come out. How about Dark Knight Rises? That came out, was a giant success. That should have spawned like 6 movies. Like, you're in production immediately on 6 films. So I don't think they're going to ever catch up, to be honest with you. So they're going to be behind in, you know, for 10, 15 years. But yeah, them merging Fantastic Four and X-Men, I think eventually that'll happen. Obviously Fox wants to hold on to those properties. So by merging them and having a Thing crossover with Wolverine, that would be incredible. So.
Oh, can you imagine seeing Thing fighting Wolverine on the big screen? Like that'd be
awesome.
That would be awesome. All right, folks, well, we've run out of time, but before we do anything else, and while I've got you, stop what you're doing. Click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber for our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's the very best way to support us, that, and click the thumbs up button. Don't forget, you can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters, and go out and see a movie tonight. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater and showtime information, as well as your movie tickets. If you want an audio-only version of this show, look into the description of this video, and you'll find links to our iTunes and Stitcher Radio, so you can listen to us on your drive to work, like one of our readers wrote in today. Folks, don't forget, you can join us again tomorrow. AMC Movie Talk is a daily show, and once again, click that subscribe button. I want to thank the very lovely Jenna Phillips for being our host. Thank you to the wonderful and lovely John Schnepp.
Why, thank you.
And thank you to you guys. Listen, remember, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say up here. It's what you have to say. Jump on into the comment section of this video and leave your thoughts on any or all the topics that we discussed today. And we read every single one of them, I guarantee you. So until tomorrow, my name's John Campia for AMC Movie Talk. Bye-bye.